Hello and welcome back to Prep for Retirement Television. I'm Cheryl Tan, your host, and joining me today is local financial advisor Patrick Moriarty to discuss three more very important aspects of retirement planning. With more than 30 years working for some of the largest financial firms in the industry, Patrick started his own financial firm that has a focus on helping viewers just like you prep for retirement. He is here today to share his ideas and strategies to help you live a long and happy retirement. Welcome back, Patrick. Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's good to be here.
Good to talk with you about retirement. And we know that planning for retirement takes more than luck. Each week, we discuss three financial topics or leaves, like in the shamrock of your company logo. Yeah. So today we're talking about longevity risk. And I know you love talking about this topic. Yes. What is it and how does it impact us?
Longevity risk is living too long and running out of money. I mean, just simply put, we outlive our resources. And it's not only the number one risk that Americans face, it's the number one fear. It keeps them up at night. The fear of running out of money prevents them from living the lifestyle that they want to live. They're afraid of spending their money. They have this fear, this phobia. And I see it with retirees. They don't live the life they should because of this fear. So it's there, it's real. And it's important that individuals get a good, solid plan so that they know how long their money's going to last. And the reason why longevity risk is the number one risk is due to the fact that it's a risk multiplier. The longer we live, the greater the odds are that something negative will affect our plan. For example, the longer we live, the greater the odds that we'll see higher inflation. Kind of like now, right? Higher taxes, maybe a recession, the need for long-term care, a stock market crash, a global war, a pandemic, maybe a cyber attack. I mean, seriously, these are things that can happen the longer that we live. It's important that we know that these negative things can happen and that we project a long lifestyle in retirement, especially if we're healthy and we're living a healthy lifestyle. I mean, think about past generations, and we've talked about this before. I did some research on my grandfathers, and they both worked until they were 65, and coincidentally, they both died when they were 75. So they didn't live long enough to have negative things hurt them in retirement. So that's the big unknown. How long will we live? And if you're a married couple, now you've got to worry about how long will two people live. And as I've said before, if the big guy upstairs would just text us the date, right, that we're going to pass away, it would make the planning process so easy. I mean, I could create a really easy formula to figure out how long my money will last if I live to X. Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury.
You wish that there was a place, right, where you can know for certainty that you'll have enough, but then also still plan ahead. Correct. So that's where you come in, right?
Exactly.
That planning place where you can live as long as you need to and still have money to fund it.
It comes down to a written plan. It comes down to the fact that 75% of Americans aren't prepared and don't really have a written plan. So what a plan does is it gives you a view of what your assets look like, what your cash flow looks like over a certain period of time. If you have just an average longevity, maybe it's 85 years old. If you're living very healthy, you're active, you're exercising, you're eating right, maybe you project it out to 90. Maybe you project it out to 95, but you need to play with that. You need to see what happens if we live, a certain period of length. So that's the first thing that viewers, I think, need to do is have a plan and then play with those numbers, play with those projections to see, what the assets look like and the cash flow looks like in retirement.
I know you're a sports fan.
Yes.
A big sports fan. It kind of, when you're talking about projections, I'm kind of thinking about it like in a football game, right? As you're a coach trying to figure out where the ball's going to go and you're kind of coaching your team. It's kind of like that same thing for you. You can actually map out for someone the years that they think they might be with us and the money that they might have. So they have a measure of comfort in knowing that they can spend something or what they need to save.
Seeing the projections, seeing the cash flows, seeing what happens with taxes and inflation over a certain period of time. What I find is that a lot of retirees underspend, because of that fear. They don't spend enough and they don't enjoy retirement as fully as they should. So the planning process kind of gives them a little bit more freedom and gives them a little bit more enjoyment in retirement.
How can your team help someone who has a question about whether they have saved enough or whether they should spend more in whatever stage they are right now?
Well, I think the first part, that we've kind of stressed here is having that plan. So seeing the projections, knowing what those numbers look like, but also having, enough guaranteed income in retirement. We need, income is about, retirement is about income, not so much the assets, right? We want to save a lot of money, but the more income we have that's predictable, that's guaranteed, that's coming in month after month after month, well, that leads to a more predictable retirement and a more successful retirement because we're not worried so much about the assets. We know the checks are coming in and we know that we can live on this money even if our assets drop in value. It's part of the planning process. Have a good written plan and make sure you have enough guaranteed income that lasts as long as you do.
And I know you've got some spots, like limited numbers of spots for you or your team members to talk with people who have questions, because people probably have a lot of questions.
Very much so. If the viewers want to come in and sit down and see what that conversation looks like to start the planning process, give me a call. The local number is 410-599-3300. We have 10 spots every week opened up for the viewers. We also have a QR code that you can take a picture of the QR code, go right to my calendar and pick one of those 10 spots. It's no cost, no obligation. Don't bring a checkbook. We're not selling anything. We'll have a discussion and if I can help you, great. If I can't, I'll also tell you that as well.